family, 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 I ride for you, 'cause I love you all. OHANA. Ohana!
Aloha, I'm Desmond Hakias. I'm the host of Healing with Aloha Podcast located on the island of Kauai. Today, I have the honor and privilege of having Nik Rosokow. He is a voluntary speaker at Create to Communicate, Tea Talks, and One Micronesia. He is also an up and coming Micronesian hip hop mogul and a community activist. With further ado, guys, this is Nik.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
So I'm glad to finally have you on here. Just getting to know you and just to see what you've been up to and where you're headed. Because there's some exciting news that we're gonna definitely talk about today on this episode. But can you tell people a little bit about yourself and what led you to hip hop?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. First and foremost, though, all praise to the Most High. Second, thank you for just having me on here. This opportunity sincerely means a lot. So, thank you very, very much, Desmond. Thank you. Yeah, as far as myself, first I'm an activist, of course. That's like my primary goal, is using my music as, form of activism. But yeah, I've ventured a little bit more into like, I guess you could say the executive side of that business. So, I do a lot more things like, I got into directing music vids. I might manage a few artists in the upcoming months. That'll be on, later discussion. But yeah, as far as about me, of course, I'm a proud Micronesian. I'm a proud Chuukese. I reside in Florida. Shouts out to Bradenton, Manatee County, Sarasota. Yeah, I'm a Muslim. I'm not perfect, but I try my best to live by those tenets and practices. That's what I believe. And I'm autistic. As a lot of people, they try to they try to figure out whether or not it's like I have Asperger's or autism. I feel like I have autism, and a lot of psychiatrists that see me, they've had that same discussion. Aside from that, though, yeah, I'm very big on doing stuff, for my community, and I think music has been like a big tool, me having like an influence. So I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing and being in the position that I'm at.
I think what I can totally appreciate about you is like through your music, you are an activist, but like you go through like all topics. You know what I mean? Like you don't lean towards one thing. You talk about struggle. You talk about Ohana. You talk about just like coming up and like empowering people and whatnot. And of course, it's sprinkled in there, with language and whatnot because when you struggle and you come from something, it's not easy. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people are always trying to fit in, and that is one thing I noticed like in your writing style and your song lyrics and how it tells a story. And what do you feel like? Because it's been how many years that you started doing music?
Doing it like on a major level, like probably since 19. I took a brief break when I went to Chuuk. I was there for about like 3 years, or maybe 2.5 years, I think. But yeah, nobody's perfect. That's part of being a human. I feel like like of course, just like we're having freedom of speech. I want to be able to express myself and how I feel about different circumstances. Such as domestic abuse, drug addiction, alcoholism. Not just talking about stuff that necessarily like affect the streets, but affect like just regular household families as well. Me being autistic, I focus a lot on autism awareness. Me being a Muslim, I focus a lot on prejudice, and racism, of course, being Micronesian, especially out there in places like, Guam and Hawaii. But, I feel like, God gave me this gift, and, I want to be able to use my voice, to touch many lives and, impact them hopefully in a positive manner.
No, and definitely you are just like the feedback that people have, and like even the kids, your family, your so in Hawaii we say hanai, like adopted family and stuff.
Mm,
And I see like your family has grown so much. You know what I mean? From Haiti to Chuuk and all the way to Hawaii, and then every state you've been because you've traveled a lot. Do you feel like you traveling and being around different cultures and even going back to your roots, do you feel that really infused your mind into like changing out like how you go about things, because then you were firsthand seeing people live a certain way compared to what in America, you know what I mean, like when you went out of country. Do you feel like that was insightful and that transformed your the way you were like sharing your message, because you became more of a
absolutely,
voice
yes.
for everybody, not just yourself?
No, absolutely, and it's insightful, but it's also inspiring. One of the biggest reasons why like I got into like I get like traveling like for my music per se. Um, it's like it was just more so like on a promotional aspect, but I had the opportunity to kind of like get like the front line view of like different people's struggles and whatnot. Uh, me going to Haiti and just experiencing the poverty that was out there. Same with being in Micronesia, and then like there's Micronesians abroad. I think like in the past 5 years, I've been to about like 10 different states. 9 that like I was pretty active like with like the Pacific Island community, and I got an opportunity like to kind of bear witness different turmoils that our people go through. Just things like employment, or excuse me, unemployment. Uh, of course, like like living off of welfare, which is unfortunate. Um, things like just a cultural adjustment. You know, there's a big difference from how it is living back home in comparison to the states. And I feel like I want to try and do things like implement programs that can like offer stuff like cultural integration. So that way, like Micronesians that do come here, they can live like a prosperous life and progress and be able to provide for their loved ones. So,
Yeah.
because I want to do that too. Just speaking for myself, that's one of the biggest reasons I got into music. I know how big this industry is. I know how profitable it can be, and I feel like if I can reach like a particular status that I want to, then I'll be able to generate enough finances to where I can like fund things for my loved ones. Like them like pursuing education, going to college, or of course just like doing stuff like just getting groceries for the crib. So nothing big, nothing small, but long as they're secure, as long as they're living a happy and healthy life, then I'm happy too.
No, and I think it's great because a lot of times people have dreams and goals, and they tend to hold back because they fear, okay, what if it doesn't work out, right? But I think when you're why you do what you do is more than you. You know what I mean? Like what you said, like as you prosper, you can help create opportunities and programs and just give back to other people. I think that can sustain you than if you just said, oh, I just want to be famous.
Yeah, no, like I don't do this for the clout. I do this for a cause. You know, I try to get my fans to have that same concept because I want them to kind of like live that throughout their life too. Don't do everything for the gram, especially like this generation. Oh my God, everything is like via Snap, via TikTok, and I mean that's cool because sincerely, if I'm being honest, social media has definitely played like a big role in like my outreach, but I don't take it to the head. I try my best to just use like these this new generation of technology and social media to help me get my message out. This is like a big example. It's a podcast. I'm sure you got plenty of followers that love healing with Aloha, And, now it's an opportunity for me to, get my message out to them. So, once again, mahalo.
You're welcome. Thank you. Um, you know, music for me personally has always been part of my healing. Like I could be going through a really difficult time, but there's just certain music or certain songs that just makes you like it calms you down and whatnot. Do you feel like music has always been something important to you, or did you notice it later on in life?
No, I think it was. I went over this on like a previous podcast, but for your followers, I'll go over it again. There was a time, me being autistic, there was a time where like I wasn't verbal. I didn't actually verbally communicate with people. Uh, by the age of 6, I started to. By that time, I was in Sri Lanka. So if you guys aren't familiar, they also call it Ceylon. So that's where my stepfather is from. I love you, pops. If you're watching, I love you, pops. Um, but yeah, like when I was there, how the story goes, because sincerely, my memory's pretty vague of the situation. But we went to this restaurant. They were gonna order some food. Uh, I didn't talk right, but I actually sung my order. I was saying something like, "I want French fries.
Oh
And
my
my
god.
dad wants a steak." Like I forget. I don't know because I sincerely don't remember it. But my mom was saying that she vividly remembered it, and she just bursted into tears because, like,
Oh.
literally, it shocked her that I was able to, talk in that moment. So, then, by the time I was 7, I was able to come to the States. We were stationed in Kentucky. That's where my mom's from. Shouts out to my mom. Love you, mama. Um, and I was able to get the assistance that I needed from the Autism Center over at the University of Louisville. So, shouts out to the Cardinals. Uh, but yeah, I was able to get the assistance that I needed. Um, I don't think that anybody that knew me, in my childhood would expect me to be where I'm at or be able to, just communicate, period. Back then the problem was getting me to talk. Now the problem is getting me to shut up. So,
And now you put
no,
lyrics and you put a beat on it. Like
exactly.
what?
But no, like it's been like hella impactful in my life. Now even more so because not just like the meaning of like particular songs to me, but now I'm creating content, and I'm having influence and I'm able to change lives, the way that music had changed my life. So yeah, I do wholeheartedly believe that music is extremely influential.
What is your advice to parents? Because when you're raising a kid who's musically talented and you're not, sometimes parents can um, doubt. You know what I mean? What's your advice to parents about trusting your child's process and just their ability to like figure it out? You know what I mean? Because sometimes if you're not an artistic person, whether it's music, art, or whatever, right? Seeing your child wanting to go into a certain career or just a passion for something and you have no clue about, um, now that you're older and you look back, what would your advice be to a parent who's raising a child who desires to go into being an artist or to to go into music? Because it can be scary because you're like, oh, I've heard the terminology like, oh, you're gonna be a starving artist, which is it's bad because it's like putting in the kid's head like it's not gonna work out. What would your advice be to parents now that you look back and where you've come?
And I'm honestly, God, I'm very, very grateful that you asked this question.
Okay.
Now I have to kind of reflect on, some bad moments, I guess you could say, in my life or whatever. But so, like my dad, my stepfather being Muslim, uh,
Mm.
he didn't necessarily approve of just music, period, you know. And then when he found out I wanted to be a rapper, oh my God, like like literally he flipped out, and he just didn't approve of it. He didn't necessarily like it. In certain instances, I got reprimanded, for my pursuit. Um, I think now he has like an understanding of my end goal, and even though he might not necessarily approve of my choices, He understands the influence that I have, and that at least I'm doing it for something good.
Mm.
So, but sincerely, uh, like I feel like not even just music, but I feel like any parent should take this advice I'm about to give. Your child is not going to pursue what you want them to pursue, because that child will one day become, a young man or a young woman, and they have their own inspirations and, aspirations and, and dreams and goals that they want to reach. And even though it might not necessarily line up with, what you might necessarily want for them, the best thing that you can do as a parent is just, be supportive of, what they're doing or what they want to do. And keep in mind that, as a young person, they might not necessarily know what they want in life. So their goals or dreams might change throughout the times. So you got to be able to, keep that in mind, and, kind of just give them, a little bit of game, along the way, man. You can't tell a man what to do. You can only advise him.
Right.
And I guess that goes for a woman as well. But, you know, uh, yeah, just do the best you can to be their crutch, be their anchor, their rock, their backbone. That's the goal of, any parent should have. And, when my time comes from, me have like, a couple little jits, I hope that, I can be that, for my son or my daughter, next coming years.
Right. And I think that's great advice. That's something I had to realize, when I'm a single mom and I'm divorced, and I used to be like, oh, it's my baby. And then I was like, okay, as he gets older, it's like the term, like in my heart, he'll always be my baby. But I realized that I'm raising a boy to a man, and that I
Mm-hmm.
want to prepare him to be able to handle himself, and to be able to be a gentleman, and to be respectful, and know how to treat women. And I understand that. And so I have to be more aware on how I teach him to be independent. Like I can love him, but like allowing him to grow. And so I see what you're saying, like being supportive. Like it changes, like the idea. So there was a time when he was younger, he wanted to be a doctor pilot,
Oh
or a
yeah.
helicopter pilot and a doctor.
Mm.
And so um, I think not bashing your child's dreams, but just like making a note and being like, oh, cool, anything is possible. And just like giving them that chance to evolve, because we evolve. What we wanted like a year ago changes to a year. And so no, so yeah, that I think that's great advice.
Yeah. Even as adults, I feel like sometimes, interests change, Uh, like when I was first coming up, like I was 19, right? I never really looked into the aspect of, activism at first. I knew that I always wanted to do something for my community, but I didn't think that I was going to be as heavily like involved, as I am right now. Um, me going to Chuuk when I was 22, I think is what kind of like changed my perspective and, changed my life. And that was when I took my little hiatus. Then coming back and come back to the States and having, like the resources and, like I built up a little bit of a buzz back home because people were aware of me, for my music status. And I made like, a couple songs or two back there, not
Yeah.
really nothing big. But, yeah, me getting back here in the States, I was able to, start really making moves. And, uh, yeah, like I started making impact. And, now that I'm at the age that I'm at now, uh, I gotta be realistic at the same time, like there's not a lot of longevity, in this game. Uh, so I might venture into doing something like, like reggae or singing. Yes, ladies,
Mhm.
I can sing too. Um, but yeah, and even just being like an exec, there's a couple young guys that I'm looking into. I don't want to say too much because I don't want them to get too eager. I want them to still have like that hunger and drive to like put in the work that they need as necessary. And but yeah, I got my eyes on a few kids. I think I might start putting my money behind, and trying to help them like become like big influencers themselves.
Yeah, I think it's good because you're like trying to, because you've been in, and then now you're getting older, then you realize like, okay, let me help them to get a 360, because now you can mentor people, whereas back then you were just hustling and trying to get like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just doing the best that I can, getting through it. And so now you can look back and go, okay, If you want, let me advise you, because there's other ways you can do it and be more effective in it. And so I think that'll be great for you. But you have to have gone through it to get to this point to look back and go,
Yeah,
man.
no, like, and like, sincerely, man, like a lot of these guys that I got my eye on, like, man, I don't want to say too much because then I might be revealing
Oh,
something. A lot of them, they kind of are really like put in like a little bit of work, like they got like stuff that's like, out and about, on particular platforms. Some of these guys, I've known them when I was like in the streets, and like they would just do something like they just jump in the midst of, like us freestyling or whatever. And I'd be like, oh man, that dude, hey, how old is Jit? How old is he? And then like, oh, he's 12. I was like, what? Now they're like,
man.
now they're 18, 19. So I'm like, okay, like, so not saying too much, but like, yeah, they got a gift. They might not necessarily know how to how to use their gift, from a business aspect.
Yeah.
And
That's what I was going to ask you.
mm,
That is like, it's more than just the music. It's a business. And your ability to communicate and to network and to collaborate, and we were talking about this, that it's more than just singing, or you know what I mean, like making these cool videos. It is so much more than that to sustain yourself.
yeah, no, I want this, like I said, I want this to be the means to feed my family. There's a difference between having a job and having a career. Uh, a wise man once told me that if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. Um, I'm gonna give a quick brief uh, experience lesson or a moral lesson I learned, back in Chuuk. Okay, so when I was attending college up there, or excuse me, down there, there were two colleges. There was CLM and CCPI. Both of the colleges only offered degrees in education, being a teacher. Um, Now, here's the thing. There were two types of college students that I noticed. Students that actually had a passion and wanting to be a teacher, and then students that understood that, what, that's a government job, that is a well-paid job, and it will probably like be something that, I can, use to just, further myself and my family. Now, that's cool and all, but here's the thing. Within a 5-year span, these 5 students are going to wake up differently. The ones who actually wanted to be a teacher, they're going to wake up with a smile on their face because they're actually doing something they like, doing something they love, something that they dreamed about since they were little jits. Those guys who just did it because they know that, it's a good paid job and it's easy to get by, you know how they're waking up, Deslin? Oh, man, I got to go teach all these kids again, man. And so that right there is proof in itself that money does not buy happiness. And that was a big eye opener for me. I was fortunate enough that, I went to school, I went to college, and I was able to be a teacher back home as well. I taught at Weipat High School for a period of time, and then I also taught at Cecilia, which is a smaller Catholic school on the main island. And even through that, I used that opportunity to volunteer my services for different youth groups, with the Muslim community back in Florida. So I shouldn't say back in Florida. I say here in Florida because I'm here.
You're
but yeah,
okay. Yeah, I seen a video. Do you want to share real quick that you utilized your song lyrics, your music in one class? There was a video you have out that you're
oh
like,
yeah,
I can't
that's
believe I'm using my music.
yeah, that's Street Lights. So that particular record, I used it to talk about about women that they come from, like the environment that I'm, I previously am from.
Mm-hmm.
And they battle with a lot of stuff like, domestic abuse, getting sexually assaulted, of course, alcoholism, drug addiction, things like that, and prostitution. I wanted to, like kind of like focus on those issues that these women face, coming from those types of backgrounds. And I think I was like very, very lyrical. Like I went into some like like rap battle type of bars. So what I did when I went to Weipat, I wanted to find a way how like I could use my music to kind of like teach the kids. And then fortunately for me, I was teaching ninth and 10th grade English and ninth and 10th grade social studies. So I took the first verse of that record and I basically broke down each 4 bar, yeah, because 16 bars in a verse, right? So I broke it down to where I had them learn 4 bars for Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, I had them get a little test on it. And I had like multiple examples of metaphors, synonyms, antonyms, just using proper grammar.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity to literally use my gift and my dream to give back. And I swear to God, like I never thought that I would do something like that. But it was amazing. And what's kind of cool is like the principal at the time, he's my grandmother's brother, so he's basically my grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh man, that man couldn't get over it. He was like, "Hey man, preaching like a prophet of problems up in the projects." He's like, "Hey." And he has the thing is he has a lisp a little bit, so it was like really funny to hear him sing it. I'm sorry, Papa Mannix. Hey, I love you, Papa Mannix. I'm sorry, but
I'm down for it.
Hey man, he busted it down though. He really did. So but yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's
that was
inspiring because then it's teaching kids that you can incorporate music in education, because a lot of times we have this mindset like you're just being lectured, right? Like old school, and just like being able to infuse it. Like for me, I just did a readathon and I dressed up as Moana, and I got to be goofy and do the voice changes and whatnot, and some kids need that, you know what I mean? And so basically you inspire them that music is not just math or science or whatnot. It's an expression, and in that expression you use language.
and that's the thing too. That was kind of like my niche, I think, because like ninth and 10th grade, like those kids are old enough that they were aware of my music status. So of course, like I think that they weren't gonna necessarily like take me as serious, because they were probably gonna be like, "Oh man, he's gonna be the cool substitute teacher. He's gonna be cool." But like, and I was, because I'm the cool teacher. I'm the cool uncle,
Right.
But I used like what they thought was cool about me. I used that to teach them, to educate them, to show them like a few English words and terms, and how to utilize them, and yeah, it was just an awesome opportunity to actually use my gift to have like an impact.
I mean, have you ever thought of trying that in Florida or in the States? Because you did that over there. I mean, be a guest speaker at a performing arts school or something. I don't know, just an idea.
No, I would like to. If the opportunity presents itself, I'm not necessarily gonna press the issue just because of the fact that I have like other things going on.
Yeah.
But if a school or like maybe like a community center that has like an active youth group were to reach out to me and have something like that occur again, man, I'd love to. I would love to. Because the same impact I want.
Oh. It froze. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I just seen it froze.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you saying that the impact it had on you?
No, I was saying that I would love to do something like that. Yeah, like because the same impact that I had back in Chuuk, I'd love to have that here in the States, and of course places like Sri Lanka and Haiti. But I'm not necessarily gonna press the issue.
Right.
If the opportunity does come by, like if a school or youth group did reach out to me, I would more than be willing to like use my gift to teach teach them.
Yeah, no, and I think that's inspiring. A mutual friend of mine, Jazan. Jazan also does stuff in the community.
Yes, I seen a video. She did the exact same
right
thing.
of you, like you guys both were able. She did it here in the islands, Hawaiian Islands, and then you did that back in Chuuk. So it's kind of cool that you guys are both like doing it. When you guys have opportunity in the mix of music and working and whatnot.
Yeah, man. Nah, she's so awesome too, man. I've seen her. I've seen her do that as well. Like, I was trying to ask her, yo, like, drop that clip. I want to share it, cause for real, man. Like, anybody that's like an educator and that's like, of course, like in the same field of work, like with this rap stuff, like, man, like I commend them. I salute them, cause it's such a hard life to balance. I feel like there's a lot of judgment that gets placed on us, cause then it's like, oh, there's a negative stigma.
Yeah.
Being labeled as a rapper. And, I had to face that, on numerous occasions, But I think like by me actually putting in like the work that I have, there's like a bigger understanding now and better understanding now of, what's the end goal, what's the end game that I want to see. So,
Well, and then the people who vibe with you, who take the time to get to know you, no, they won't just pass judgment off the bat. You know what I mean about what you're all about. Can you share with them real quick? You volunteered. Chelsea, you guys had a special virtual, the create to communicate. Can you explain to them what that was?
Yeah, so create to communicate. That was a Zoom meeting that our dear friend Chelsea had. Shouts out to you, Chelsea. Love you, man.
Shout out to Chelsea.
Like, yeah, man, she's hella cool, man. Basically, she had this Zoom meeting where multiple women and just individuals came, and we basically spoke about like different issues that affect our community, not necessarily the Micronesian community, but just just the world, and man, it was awesome because I got to meet a bunch of bright and beautiful young ladies that like had like their own their own goals, their own their own trials and tribulations that they wanted to have an opportunity to reflect on, and Jazan was actually one of the speakers too, by the way, if you weren't aware of that too. So shouts out to you, Jazan.
Well, no, so I'm close to those guys because they were on the podcast, and then we actually did a workshop together, and then they were my special guests for the Healing Summit.
Oh, nice, nice.
So they have a special place in my heart. They actually look like my little sister who passed away, and so I have mad love for them. So I think it's awesome how like I was able to meet you through Chelsea, and that like we've like all kind of like helped each other out in making a difference. Yeah.
Not for real, man. Big shouts out to Chelsea for that, man. She yeah, like she basically hit me up. I think because we got a mutual friend. He's got a clothing line brand called Transcending Heritage. Shouts out to you if you're watching, Brad. My guy, like I don't know if he hit her up personally about me, or if it's like she just caught wind of like my music and my movement, like on his page or whatnot. Because like we exchanged sharing content and whatnot. But yeah, once I realized that she was a podcaster and that she was big on like activism as well, I immediately reached out to her, and we talked for maybe like an hour and a half, just like kind of like exchanging stories and getting a chance to know each other. Yeah, and she was asking me if I could volunteer some time, to speak at Create to Communicate. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the second meeting. I'm so sorry, girls. I love y'all, man. But I was able to kind of give a little bit of my feedback and like give a chance to give a male perspective. I was actually the only male attendee.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, man. And yo, fellas, I want y'all to step it up, man. For real, I really do. We gotta back up these ladies out here, man, because when they do great things like this for us, for our community, our world, we really do. We gotta back them up, man. We gotta be supportive, just as they're supporting us too. So
yeah, definitely collaborating. We all have something to give, and together we can like make a positive impact. I wanted to ask you, so what's next for you?
Nothing big. Currently. Well, I'm saying that humbly speaking. No, I'm just aligning myself with just a lot of creators, a lot of influencers, clothing line brands, of course. I think the biggest thing, aside from me getting into managing and directing a few more videos is I'll be releasing my album. I was thinking about dropping it this summer. Me and my team are having a discussion. We might want to push it back again. So to all the fans that have been waiting, like sincerely, like I want to give you my my most humblest and deepest apology. Y'all been hella supportive from the jump. But yeah, like sincerely, like we gotta see. We're still in talks. Because we just want to line up, like a few other major moves, a few other major chess plays. But yeah, album is on the way. I got a few vids that I need to shoot. I'll be doing 2 of them over here. I want to do one in Tennessee, most likely South Dakota, Iowa. I need to shoot 5 videos in Hawaii. Yeah.
So you definitely got to push back your date.
Yes, absolutely. So, but I don't know. We'll see. Because sometimes you don't necessarily need videos, to push an album. But it does help,
Right.
But yeah.
Well,
We'll
it adds a visual to the melodies.
Yeah.
It just adds, it's that extra touch.
You gotta do it like Salt Bay. You gotta.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I appreciate the time that we got to spend together. Is there anything else you wanted to share with my guests before we leave? And what is the best way for them to find you?
No, man. Let me say this. Sorry, it took me a minute to think about that. It takes one to make a difference, but it takes many to make a significance. I'm gonna say that one more time. It takes one to make a difference, but it takes many to make significance. So if there's anything that I would encourage my fans, when you are passionate about something, whether it's, for your community, for your family, or for yourself, consider that factor and, try to reach out to others, not just to help yourself or help your family, but, respectfully reciprocate that love and that help. That's a part of being a community. We can't, there's a phrase we say in Chuukese, "Ami tufuga and medicine chaiwa." I'm gonna tell you a story that my grandfather told me. Literally, this is the last phone call right before he died. He was talking to me. He said, "Son, if I gave you 100 sticks, how'd you break them?" He said, "One by one, of course." And he said, "What if I tied them all together and I try to hand you to break them? Could you break them?" Like, nah. He's like, "Why?" What the? Wait, Jaiwa. Abby Chufugan, medicine Jaiwa. Together they're strong. And yeah, like ever since that conversation, man, that's something that stuck with me, man. And I try my best to practice that in my life. And that's one of the biggest reasons I reach out to so many influencers and whatnot. Because if I do want my message and my dream and my goal for a better world for us, it's gonna take more than just me. I'm just a voice, I'm just a vessel, but I want to be able to put that in action. And if I'm gonna be able to do that, I need everyone, and we all need each other. So that'd be my message to everybody. If you do want to get in contact with me or reach out to me, social media is on Facebook. It's just Nik Rosokow, Nik Rosokow, Nik Rosokow. And then Instagram is Snapchat, SoundCloud, it's Robinhood691. My TikTok and my Twitter is Chuukese Montana. Yeah. And my YouTube, King Kulas. Kulas. King Kulas.
Yeah, and then I'll make sure to add all of this so that everybody can find you. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm honored and privileged to know you, be a part of your life, and to see what's to come, and to even collaborate with you in the near future.
No, not even. The pleasure's all mine. Sincerely, man. Mahalo.
Okay. Hold on.